All right, let's play a couple of hard Lichess puzzles. So I'm logged in right now, and I'll get some puzzles geared at my rating, which is currently 2433. All right, so bishop d5. So what's going on here? All right, so white's down a couple pawns. Black's development is just terrible. Half the board hasn't moved. I'm tempted to just castle guard g2 and play chess. All right, but let's look for a tactic. So what to attack? Can I get to the king? The rook in the corner is loose. Maybe attack the queen. This is a nice solid setup here with the pawn and bishop guarding each other. So checks and captures. Okay, there are no checks. There's only one capture. So knight takes c6, bishop takes c6. It does clear the d file. That might be something. So I can remove the defender of the bishop. If the bishop recaptures, do I have anything good with this dark squared bishop unleashing the queen? Bishop c1, queen d6. I don't see anything with knight takes pawn. Can I attack the queen? Bishop c1. Queen's got lots of squares, I think. Here, 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 here. Queen isn't going to be trapped. Knight c2, attacking the queen. Queen here. There's a fork possibility on c7. Can I get the knight there? Let's look at this move, knight b5, which threatens to go to c7, and it threatens the queen. So the obvious response is pawn takes knight. That does take away the defender of the bishop. But what can I do after that? Knight to b5, pawn takes knight. Do I have any discoveries with my dark squared bishop so the queen can take on d5? Maybe bishop c1. I don't want to just win the piece back, though. And I think the queen can defend it anyway. What else is there? There is bishop takes b5, which is a check. That looks promising. Yeah, let's look at that again. Knight b5, c takes b5, bishop takes b5, check. King doesn't want to step to the d file because bishop b4 checks with the queen and wins the queen. So if he doesn't step to the d file, then he has to block the check. We just take it and win the rook. So knight b5, c takes b5, bishop takes b5, check. No, I'm forgetting. The bishop hasn't moved yet in that case. So two pieces blocking the d file. So knight b5, c takes b5, bishop takes b5, check. King can move to the d file somewhere, like let's say king to d8, and then what do I do? If I move the d2 bishop, that pins the d5 bishop. then there's always just e6. Or if I attack the queen with, say, bishop c1, the queen can defend the d5 bishop. Okay, knight, let's reset. Knight b5, c takes b5, bishop takes b5, check. King moves to the d file. It's got to move to the d file. It's got to be to our advantage. All right, I'm not seeing it. This is taking a while. Let's try that out, see what happens. So we'll call this a failure. But I've got a big hunch. It's knight to b5. Ah, it is. And bishop takes b5 check. Yeah, it steps to the d file. Now I should have some tactic on this d file. So bishop attacks the queen. Or even here, giving up the bishop. No, that would be a check, giving it up with check. So bishop c1. The queen can just block this d file, though, and protect the bishop. So I don't think I'm going to move the bishop on d2. Can I get the rook into play? I don't think so. Let's castle now. No, I'm just kidding. Oops, didn't mean to hit that. Bishop here. That's interesting. Bishop to c4, attacking the bishop. The bishop can't take because that leaves the d file, and then bishop to b4 would be a discovered check and win the king. So can we win the bishop? I mean, it can just be protected, though. Ah. I feel like I'm starting a new puzzle here. What about bishop c6, forking? I bet you that's it. Yeah, if bishop takes bishop, then bishop to b4, check, wins the queen. If the rook moves, we get this bishop. But we did sacrifice a piece. Just getting our piece back. Let's see, bishop c6. Let's say rook goes to c8. Bishop takes bishop. Doesn't look that great. What was wrong with bishop b4? Oh yeah, check. All right, I'm not going to bore everybody. Let's play bishop c6. Oh, somehow that's right. I just want to take the rook. Yeah, if I take the rook, he can't take me back without losing his queen. So let's take the rook. Yeah, all right, I got lucky. 2462 rated puzzle. That's a hard one. Let me look at the engine just for a second here. Why doesn't he just move the rook? So I get the piece back. I'm down a pawn in this position, although again, black's king is terrible. So it says king e8 and wants to get off the d file. These kind of puzzles that aren't super concrete are really tough for me. It says bishop. Oh, that looks good. threatening to come here, bringing that king back to the d file. Yeah, it's just crushing. Gaining an escape square. Queen to e2. See, it's not very concrete. So it's a really tough puzzle. All right, let's try one more, since these are so hard. Okay, so material's even. Gotta watch that A pawn from queening. Can I successfully attack the white king? There are some checks to keep in mind. Even that check there, there's a pinned pawn. There's this check. That's an interesting check. I was going to say don't play that, he's just going to run away. But it does put it in line with the queen. So if we played queen here and the king went back, for example, then there's knight here check with a discovery winning the queen. So where does he go after queen to g6? Can't go here or here, the knight would check him. Can't go here, the knight would check him. So that leaves these two squares as possibilities. Then maybe queen here check. And whichever of those two squares he's on, he's going to have to return back to g3, and then I can get a discover check. I think that's it. All right. First check I check. Might be correct. So yeah, he has to avoid checks with the knight. So he's going to go to one of these two squares. And then queen over here check. And if he's on h4, he has to go back to g3 and get checked with the knight. If he's on h3, he still has to go to g3 and get checked by the knight. So I think that's it. Let's go for that. Check. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I said these two squares. There's a third square, of course. But, oh, no, that was one of the original three we said. He gets checked with the knight. Okay, so I had that covered. So check, and we win the queen. All right, that one was pretty easy compared to that first one. 2240 rated puzzle.